Okay guys, welcome back. This time we are going to explain how everything happened. This is the fun time, and that's why I brought all these pages back here so that we can easily go through them and show them what is what. Let's start with this make a list page. This is a gravity form with a one extra ACF entry here. So let's go to the back end and see what's up. Okay, here we go. And let's go to the gravity forms. And just a quick reminder, when you need some add-ons, just go here. And this is where you can actually get the advanced post creation, all the PayPal stuff, and whatever you may need. Anyway, so let's go back. And this is our guy here. So this is a subtitle primo, post title, regular body, no problem. And the actual setup that was necessary was right here, post creation. Okay, so here I just had to add new and this was created and went in to configure this. Chose the type. Normally you can choose post or page, and I had a custom post type, so I chose this one. And then make sure you choose this draft one so that normally it gets created, it goes in, but stays there as draft until somebody pays, right? So, and this is where the author, I made sure that everybody is a logged in user so that they can create the post. So this is where the the subscriber user gets the power to do the insertion. This is what changes it. And these is pretty usual, just post title and post content. But this one right here, I had to add an extra, the subtitle primo, as you saw here, it brought up. But to find this guy, you have to go here, which is pretty much the custom field. Let's go to the detail. And this is where, using ACF, I created this subtitle primo. This is where you can collect the field name, come back here and try to match them. Basically, this is where we're telling gravity form that this field should be attached to this field, so that whenever user enters something here, it actually goes into the WordPress database as this guy, right? So then you hit update, everything's fine and dandy, no problem. And that's why the list creation part was pretty smooth. But we had a problem. The problem is, let's say we create the post, but then when we go to this page, we're going to need the post ID, right? The very post ID. Without the post ID, we cannot let PayPal know what post should to attach when it sends us the success information, right? And without that, this guy also cannot send that post ID to this payment form. And if this guy doesn't get that ID, he cannot send it to the sandbox of the PayPal, right? So what we needed to do, some sort of an extra action to generate that ID and pass it along to the next page, right? So this is where this hook created by Gravity Form came in really handy. You can go here and you can even just do a search on it, and they have examples and such to use. But also there's an interesting thing to notice is that when you see here all the variable dumps and keys and such, it shows you post ID, but it always is 0. This had me baffled. I thought, okay, so since it's generating all that, I can just collect the post ID from here. But no, I had to go all the way down here. It actually came in from a field that I sent in. So this is why we needed to actually collect the ID and pass it along to the other page, so that it goes all the way to PayPal Sandbox and comes back as a form entry, not something it can find by default, right? So this is where things get a little bit squirrely, and but good thing is this is something how to collect this specific ID. They actually give you an example. So let's go to the code. All right, so here I just used a regular storefront theme. I just renamed it a little bit, so this is something you can just get off the shelf, and I don't have to worry about the styling and such. And this is the function file. I very clearly made sure that it's very visible that where my code is, below that line it's storefront, and above that, instead of muddying up with my code, I just created a separate file, dropped it under the ink folder, and just called it in. So let's go find the ink folder, and this is gravity dash function. So let's go in this point, let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so this is where it is happening. So basically I had at that point, since I'm doing everything with PHP, so I had to choose the cookie route, and added this hook. And this is the interesting part. If you add like _3, that denotes, let's say if you go CID, see, this is the form ID. So if you take that code, the hook code, or if you take that hook and just add _3, it will only work when that specific form is being submitted, right? As soon as the post gets created, I'm picking up that ID and setting up a cookie, and setting the cookie validity time 1 day, right? That's more than enough, so that later on the other pages can go like it, let's say this guy can actually collect post ID from that cookie and pass it along, right? So at this point, we're going to end this video right here. The next one, we are going to cover this page and the payment form page, and how the scheduling happened using WP cron. And one thing from the old video I forgot to show you is that while the second one got created, it actually sent me one extra message that I set up, the cron post draft status. So once it converted the post that we created and it changed the status to draft, and it sent me the title and when it happened, and the necessary information, so which we are going to see in the next video. Thanks.